Welcome to Through the Mirror. My name is Tracy Wallach, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. For all my friends that have been with me from the very beginning, welcome back. Today's episode, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't know about you, but I tend to make a lot over the years, and probably about 100% of the New Year's resolutions I make, I only complete about 10% of them. I'm curious if you're that same person as me that does exactly the same thing. Well, if you are, today's the day we're going to make that change, and it's just one step at a time. So I want to talk a little bit about that with you. So there's many things that can offset you from making a resolution, whether it be something that's so big that you're not thinking about it ahead of time and you just say, you know what, I want to start a new business and I want to make $1 million. That's a great resolution, but have you thought about the steps that you need to take in order to do that? Have you started to think about a business and what does that business look like? And what do you want to do with that business? How are you planning on doing that business? Is it an online? Is it in person? Are you selling items? So on and so forth. So those are all the things that you have to think about when, having a goal and a New Year's resolution. So for me this year, I made it really simple. My New Year's resolution was to do more of what I've done in the past, and that is my journaling, my meditation, my working out. But this year, what I did a little different than what I've done over years past is I actually stopped and said, okay, month one, how many times per week am I going to journal, meditate, work out? And so I decided to start off my new year right. Journaling meditation is going to be every day because that's something that I have been doing. I've been great on track with it. It's just I haven't really taken as much time. So I usually give myself about 15, 20 minutes in the morning. Instead, I'm giving myself now 45 minutes. That'll give me time to just take a deep breath, brush my teeth, get out of bed before I do meditation. Because in the past, I used to wake up, go right into meditation. For me, the bad thing about doing that is I was still sleepy. So I wasn't really focused on what I was meditating about. And then right when I would get done, I would start to journal, but I was still a little hazy on what that looked like. So the intention for myself to do that was going to be to take 45 minutes, get up out of bed when the alarm goes, go into the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, brush my hair, then go back and start my meditation. Worked out great. The other thing was working out. I don't know about you, but I have set the workout goal for, I'd say, a good probably 35 years of my 50 years on this earth, 51 years. And it doesn't always work out well for me. I would start off really strong and I would maybe do 3, 4 days a week. And it would probably last me about a month. And then I'd start going maybe twice a week and then once a week and then nothing at all. And I would sit there probably about 2, 3 months into the new year. I would be upset with myself and I would just get annoyed with myself. And then it would be sporadic that I'd work out. Well, this year instead, what I decided to do in December was I'm going to work out 2 days a week in January. And those 2 days a week is going to be one day when I'm in the office. So I know I need to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I will work out in my home gym because I have a lot of weight equipment that has carried a lot of dust and has had a lot of clothes hangers on it. I'd love to hear from you. Do you guys do the same thing? Do you have a lot of those great workout equipments that get a lot of dust on it and then just sit there? Well, if you're like me, you do. And so I decided one day a week with that. When I am working from home, that is when I will go into the physical gym. And that's where I'm going to do more of my heavier workout with weights in other items that are just in the gym that I don't have at home. And then, of course, they have a wonderful massage chair at my gym, which I love. So that's sort of my treat that I'm giving myself when I'm done working out. And then I can get home, take a shower, and then just go right to work. So it makes it so easy for me. So 2 days a week in January, February, 3 days a week. And I'll do the whole month of February 3, and then I'll just slowly work my way up. So that's a great goal to have. And for me, that works out well. But what if you set your goal? In some cases, like I mentioned, 2, 3 months down the line, you forget about your goal and you don't keep with it. Well, there's one of two things you could do. I hold myself accountable. So one thing you could do is either monthly or quarterly. You could set some time to say, what were my goals for the new year? Have I achieved them? what's been working, what hasn't been working. And then guess what? You're only responsible for yourself. If it hasn't been working, well, start over again. And maybe your goal wasn't realistic. Maybe you're traveling. If you're like me, I'm an event planner, so I do a lot of traveling. So maybe 1 month I'm traveling way more than I anticipated, and I'm not able to get into the gym. I'm really not able to do my meditation as much as I'd like or journaling. Well, I'm not going to turn around and throw my hands up and say, oh, okay, I didn't do it for the past 2 months. It's useless. I'm not even going to try again. No, why would you do that to yourself? Just start over. It's like a reset. Nothing says that you have to start January 1st and continue on. February 1st, March 1st, April 1st, any of those days can be a great day to reset and restart again. So don't let that be your excuse. And that's something I'm doing new this year as well. Some of the important things, like I was talking about, is reassessing your goals. So maybe I decided in January I want to work out 2 days a week. We get to March and I'm at 3 days a week, and in March it's not working for me. Well, it's just a matter of saying, okay, February worked out really well with 2 days a week. I'm going to go back to that, and maybe I need to stay a couple more months on that, and then I can move forward when I'm ready to move forward. So that's just a thought process on your side too with goals. One of the things I would probably strongly encourage you to do, and it's something I did, I think it was back in 2019. I had a really big goal, and I called it my stretch goal year. That year, I was thinking about climbing a mountain. Didn't know what mountain I was going to climb. And when sitting with a friend, I was in Boston in one of our programs, and I was talking to my friend and said, I'd really like to climb a mountain. I want to stretch myself more where I'm not as comfortable. So I've climbed a lot of mountains, small ones. Whether I'm in Colorado, West Coast, usually I'll go a couple of hours. I have no problem going on my own. I know a lot of people say don't ever climb a mountain on your own, but I have no problem doing that. But in this particular case, I wanted to stretch myself. And one of the things I realized, my friend said, well, what about, so let me back up. Kilimanjaro is one I had in mind about 14 years ago. I was supposed to climb, and I ended up falling ill. I was unable to climb Kilimanjaro. So since that point in time, I kept saying, I want to climb a bigger mountain. I want to do something greater and big. But I think the fear of not being able to do it the first time stopped me from doing it the next time and the next time. So my girlfriend and I were talking, as I mentioned. She mentioned a company called REI Adventures, which is just REI is a great place. And I'll say it slower because I'm slurring a little. It's called REI Outfitters. Great place if you like to hike or any kind of activity at all. They have equipment, everything from kayaks to hiking gear to fishing gear. You name it, they have it. So I went online with her as we're sitting there having some dinner, and I saw that they had a trip to Machu Picchu, going to Peru. And I thought, that's a great trip. Let me look some more into it, and we'll see whether or not I want to do it. And my girlfriend said, what's stopping you from doing it? Why wouldn't you just book it right now? I said, you know what? I don't have anybody to go with. I don't know, if I could do it on my own. And she says, so what are you trying to say? And I said, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm scared. She goes, so you have fear? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. Well, I don't know if you know what fear is an acronym for. It's false evidence appearing real. That's what fear really is. So I would make an excuse, well, going through the Dominican, I'm on my own. And what if I lose my passport? And what if I don't make my plane on time? And I started making all these excuses because I was scared of doing the journey on my own. And she says, but what if you don't? What are the chances that's going to happen to you? Do you know anybody else that has traveled to Peru, that have gone through the Dominican or have gone anywhere and had a problem not making their connections? And she goes, and if they didn't, were they able to find another connection? And the answer was, of course, yes. So for everything that I kept making an excuse for and say, what if this happened? She would come back and say, what if that didn't happen? So I think if there's a goal that you have or something you really want to do, don't allow fear to get in the way. Every time you come up with an excuse of why you're not doing something, ask yourself, what if? And so I decided at that point, I said, okay, let me think about it overnight. The next day I woke up and I said, you know what? What if I just booked it now? So I went through REI. It was an expensive trip, but I decided I was going to do it on my own. For anybody that has traveled to Peru and climbed Machu Picchu, there are two ways you could do it. The first way, you could take a 1 day train ride. You go, it's about an hour up, and you can walk around and then you can go back down. The next way of seeing Machu Picchu is a 4 night stay, overnight stay, and it's on top of the mountain. Now, from base to the top, it is 4 days. You are hiking nonstop. So 8 hours a day. You wake up in the morning, you eat your breakfast, you go hike all day long, 7 hours, 8 hours, and then you end up stopping wherever the stopover is. And then you just sleep, and it's rinse and repeat. You do it the next day. So here I was, 12 other people by myself, traveling is what would have happened and what did happen. And the whole time that I'm booking this, I decided to stop thinking. A lot of times when we stop and when we spend too much time thinking, we start making excuses, much like fear. Well, what if I can't climb? What if I can? What if I don't have the proper gear? Well, go online, read the information. I realized I did. And what I didn't have, I went to the store and I purchased it. Long story short, within 24 hours, I not only booked my stay, I ordered my gear online. I looked through, booked my hotel stay, booked my flights, everything. And I will tell you, if you are ever interested in doing something yourself or want to partner with other groups to do something, I would highly recommend REI Adventures. They're fantastic, and it's a more upscale way of hiking a mountain. And I'm not afraid that I did, or I'm not sad that I did it. I did, like I say, spend a little more than I would have liked. However, I was fully taken care of. So fast forward, it took me a year. It was a year after that is when I was doing the hike. So it was a lot of training. And I live in Florida. So when I say training, it's a lot different when you live in Florida versus when you live on the West Coast. You can go out, you can hike mountains, get acclimated to temperatures, to wearing your gear, to high altitude. Well, in Florida, we have one altitude, and that's zero. It's just flat ground all the way. So my biggest challenge was how can I sort of replicate what's going to happen? How can I do this? Well, all I had really is just a treadmill. And then where I work, they had some stairs. So doing stair climbing up and down, going in their garage that they had parking garage and just walking up and around. Really, my backpack was about a 30-pound pack. I wouldn't recommend having such a heavy backpack. And because we also had people that were taking our day packs with them, we really didn't have to stuff more in our pack. But I preferred to have a heavier pack just to get conditioned body wise for it. And I thought I was doing a great job. We're probably about 3 weeks out. I was so excited. I was prepared. I was ready to go, brought extra snacks or bought extra snacks, in which it's great when you have a Costco or a BJ's. I went and loaded up my snacks, got everything prepared, all excited to go. Day of trip, I get over there. I was told that it would be harder probably to acclimate, but I knew ahead of time that what I needed to do is just drink a ton of water. In Peru, there's a coca plant. So when you land, you could drink, like, I think it was coffee or tea. I can't remember. It was since 2019. But I drank that. And thankfully for me, I didn't have a problem with acclimating. It was great. Now, here's a part of this story I want to share with you. And then, so you can understand the fear of doing things. The whole entire time I was in fear. But one of the funniest stories ever is we had a lead, someone that would bring the group together. So we had a lead hiker, and then we had one that would stay in back. The 12 people that I was talking about, I was one of the 12. The other 11, they all lived in high climate areas or high altitude areas. So I was the only one coming from Florida that really didn't have the altitude. So I knew from the very beginning, oh my God, What happens if I set everybody back? What happens if I can't do this hike, if I can't make it? And I had to keep fighting the fear. I had to keep telling myself, but what if you do? Well, here's the great thing. The lead person, his name was Jesus. I bet you'll never guess who the backline person was. His name is Moises. So listen, people, I had Jesus and Moses with me. There is no way, and I kid you not, I swear on my life and on my child's life, this was their names. There was no way I wasn't going to complete that hike. But there were a lot of challenges I had along the way. Give you an instance. Day 2, I'm getting acclimated. We do a mini hike. It's just steps going all the way down. I stopped in midway. I'm hiking. There's one person, well, people in front of you, and then there's people behind you. I have no problem going down steps. It's beautiful. I can catch my breath. Everything's fine. It's usually when I'm inclining that I have a problem. My body's really strong. It's just my breathing. I get out of breath really quick. And so as I'm going down the steps, I hit this tiny rock. Now, if you have ever climbed before, you can have one side is the mountain, the base, or the up against the mountain, the rocks. Well, the other side, you look down and that's death. Okay. I am climbing down. I hit this little pebble. I shit you not. I was going overboard. And then all of a sudden, somehow I felt myself hit up against the rock. And I stopped and I paused and I sat down and I'm like, what the heck just happened to me? I looked down, the person below me, and they just happened to look up, I guess, when I was doing this, and in just a shocking face. And I looked at the person behind me, and they're like, "You're okay. Just breathe. I don't know what happened." And they said the same thing. It looked like you were going right, but then somehow you went left. We'll leave it at that. There is, if you're familiar with Peru and you do sort of this whole it's not, I can't think of what the name is, but it's a ceremony beforehand and it's Pachamama. And it talks about on the mountain, you have to ask permission to be on the mountain. Well, I am telling you, the Pachamama was protecting me that day. So at that moment, I could have stopped myself and said, you know what? This is a goal I had. This is something I want to do. However, this is crazy. I just want to stop, but I didn't. Long story short, climbing days upon days doing this. It was probably, I think it was the second to last day where we had to go up what's called Dead Woman's Pass. It's 3,000 plus feet. You're climbing from the base of Dead Woman's Pass all the way to the top. Now, this group was 45 minutes. The 11 people were 45 minutes ahead of me. I was on the bottom with Moises, and all he said is, Tracy, take your time. Now, for those that have never climbed Machu Picchu, it is all rocks. I am 5'7". This is no exaggeration when I say for 5'7", I feel like 5 foot is how far my leg had to go up. So if this is the bottom and this is the top, I was here trying to lift up my body weight to go up a rock, each one. And that is what Machu Picchu is. So if any of you are going to do that climb, please, I do not hesitate. I want you to email me. Okay. I want you to email me and I will tell you exactly what it's like. I have got a lot of pictures. I'll put them online for you so you can see it. It is an incredible experience, but you do have to prepare for it. You know what my preparation was? Because I was not physically prepared for it. It was the steps that I took, and all that went through my head is strength, courage, determination. Every step I took, everything in life comes down to strength, comes down to courage, it comes down to determination. Every goal you have in life, it's your choice whether or not you want to complete that goal. It's nobody else's. And you know what? A lot of times it's our determination. Are we really determined to complete that goal? Or do we have so many excuses we're making and we use that excuse to say, you know what? All right, I can't do it. Maybe I'll try it the next day. And then the next day turns into the next year, on and on, so forth. And can you tell me, is that something that you've done? Because I know I have. But at this point in time, I'm sitting around the mountain. I have no choice but to go up. Because mind you, 2 days before, Jesus had said to our group, look, right now's the time. If you do not want to go any further, you can leave. But from this point on, and that was 2 days before Dead Woman's Pass, from this day forward, there's only two ways you're getting down from this mountain. One is not the way you want to go. And the other one, we got some guys that can carry you down. And mind you, these guys can carry anybody, but I'm not going to want to be carried by men down or women at that point or anything for that matter. My own 2 feet have to be on the ground to go. So I had no choice but to do this. But I had to clear my mind and I had to keep telling myself I can do it. And I stopped a lot. And with any goal in life and with anything you do in life, you do have to pause. In this case, I stopped. I took a deep breath. I kept telling myself, you got this. You're the only one rushing yourself. No one's going to rush you. Take as much time as you need to complete your goal. And I had to keep resetting myself. And again, and I encourage you to use these words: strength, courage, determination. Imagine every time you're taking a step. Those are the 3 words that went through my mind. And let me tell you, I not only got to the top of the mountain and I stopped and I took a deep breath and I did cry. It was so emotional being up there. It was so emotional. I was drained. I was exhausted. And going down for me was so fast. I sped down the mountain. It was so incredible. But I'll tell you, the best thing about that goal was I accomplished it. I didn't let anything stop me. And believe me, from the moment of arriving there, I did have where I had to run to meet the plane because we were going through customs and it was a little more delayed than I anticipated. I didn't account for as much time as I would have liked to, because in my case, I saved about $900 having a little shorter time. But I'll tell you what, it's not great for the heart. Spend the extra $900 to be sure you have a little more than an hour in between, because I didn't think I would make it. But when you do accomplish your goal, my biggest thing I recommend for you to do is take time and write it down. Write down what your goal was. Write down your process of achieving that goal. What did it feel like? What did it feel like setting the goal, a quarter down the way of doing the goal, 25% in? What does it feel like? What can you do better? What can you change? 50% of the way, how does it feel? What can you do better? What you can change? So always assessing your goal and making sure to challenge yourself. So a goal should be a stretch goal. When you're looking at what you want to do this new year, and again, if you're we're 2 weeks into the new year, your goal isn't working for you so far, it's okay. Just try it. Keep pushing yourself to do it, or change the goal. Unless you ask somebody else to hold you accountable, which I do recommend, if you are going to do a goal that you know by yourself you may not necessarily do, get an accountability partner. I have 2 of them. One is my boyfriend, the other one is a friend at work. And they always ask me, how are you doing with your goal? And be honest. You know, you have to trust an accountability partner that if you're going to be honest, they're going to hold you accountable. And I will tell you what, my boyfriend is much kinder than my other accountability partner. He's like, it's okay, baby. You know, you'll do good. It's fine. My other accountability partner, she's not as kind. She's like, Tracy, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, don't waste time. You got this. Stop doing the crap you're doing. Stop wasting your time. And you know what? I need that. I need that person to push me. I need them to be direct with me, because I can kind of make excuses all the time for myself. And that's not going to work for me. Is that what you do? Do you sit there and make excuses for yourself? Are you afraid of taking the goal that you want and telling and sharing it with other people because you're afraid that they will hold you accountable for your goal? Well, if you're afraid to share that goal or have somebody else help you, an accountability partner, then maybe you need to ask yourself, is that really a good goal to have? Is that really a goal you do want to achieve? Ask yourself that and be honest with yourself. If you can have somebody else help you to hold yourself accountable, and you know you won't hold yourself accountable by taking small little steps, then don't have that goal. Start off with something smaller, little bits and pieces, and then you can work your way up to the bigger goal. So that's what my recommendation is. 2 weeks in the New Year's, guys. You can have some New Year's goals. It's not hard to do. Or you can have February goals, or you can have March goals. Usually January is dry January. I will be honest with you. I tried dry January on January 1st. By January 5th, I was already drinking again. And it's not like I drink a lot, although I am an event planner. We do go out and drink. But came January 6th, I stopped drinking again. I will be honest. Sunday, I drank again. So I'm going to keep trying. Maybe that's not my goal. Maybe it's dry February, or maybe it's dry nothing. But that's up to me to make that goal. And if it's realistic for me, I'll do it. So my point is just this. Have a good time. Create a goal that's going to work for you. Start small. Give yourself an accountability person to be able to help you through the goal. Don't fear. Don't have false evidence appearing real, because that's exactly what it is, folks. Okay? Don't do that to yourself. Enjoy the rest of your January. I look forward to seeing you again in another week. Stay tuned to my podcast. They are Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. on your drive time. Definitely, you can get a hold of me through Apple Podcasts. You can go online to YouTube, however you want to view me. You can email me at throughthemirror24@gmail.com and just like and subscribe and tell me what your goals are. And if you need an accountability partner, I'm your girl. I'm more than crazy and happy enough to be your accountability partner. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you want to hear anything else, please just reach out to me and let me know what you'd like to hear about next. Thanks so much and have a great day.